guys, Coach Gary on here. This is another edition of our special exercise, our supplemental exercise series. Today we're talking about rowing with a barbell, specifically what we call the seal row. And when it comes to any type of row or rowing with a barbell, we start to kind of move a little bit from the supplemental category into more of an accessory type lift. But we want to still include some barbell rowing exercises in this series because we do feel rowing is really important because the upper back, the lats are all involved in stabilizing your spine, stabilizing the shoulder joint, and just improving your overall position for all the squat, the bench press, and the deadlift. There's kind of that old saying that big back, big total. So having a bigger, stronger upper back and lats is going to be really effective, and any type of barbell row is going to be really beneficial for that. That being said, this will start to kind of move into more of a category of more of an accessory lift because it's not a direct variant of really any one particular exercise. If probably one exercise would be considered maybe a supplemental exercise, something like a pen lay or like a true pen lay or dead stop row from the floor, when you're actually kind of using some legs, might be considered a supplemental exercise for the deadlift, and even that is kind of a stretch. That being said, one of the reasons that we like the seal row, and for those that don't know, a seal row is essentially just a barbell chest supported row. So I'm sure you guys have seen at a commercial gym, doing chest supported row with dumbbells, doing a chest supported row machine. The barbell chest supported row can be a really great exercise to kind of build strength and size in the upper back, and it can also kind of help mimic the position, basically like of a bench press, and really kind of keep that pattern in reverse. So in a bench press, obviously we're doing a lot of pushing. It's working the chest, the triceps, shoulders, delts, in a pushing pattern, and then the barbell row, any type of barbell row, we're going to kind of reverse that motion and work all the muscles in the back, the posterior chain. So your upper back, rear delts, lats, and depending on how you do the row, we're going to show you some different variations. You're going to hit the muscles a little bit different. One of the reasons that we like the seal row specifically, and just any chest support row variation, it does take the lower back out of it. It can take a lot of the momentum out of it. Now, could you still use some body English on this? Of course. But it kind of eliminates the use of the lower back. And in my opinion, like I said, although a pen lay row or a dead stop barbell row from the floor, or any type of bent over row variation we feel like is great, and probably will have higher transfer to the main lifts because you can use a lot heavier weight. It does get the lower back involved, the glutes and hamstrings involved a little bit more. It is going to take its toll on the spine, and in our opinion, like between squatting, benching, and deadlifting, especially squatting and deadlifting with a barbell, a lot of times your lower back's taken a beating already, so doing something like a seal row could be a good compromise where you're still using a barbell, so it's a little bit more specific than doing like dumbbells or a cable or a machine. So it could potentially have a little higher transfer to the main lifts, and also will help kind of practice that pattern, especially if you're in like an equipped lifter where you're actually needing to pull the weight down and load the bench shirt. We find something like this can be very beneficial. So I know I was doing these today, and this is something that I've kind of got away from doing. And it seems like even 135 was kind of challenging for me when done properly. So I'm going to kind of start to throw these back in my training and see what kind of effect it has on my own training. So just really quick, a lot of benches you can kind of see. So this is like a bench from Elite FTS. This is fine, but you can kind of see that there's kind of this crossbar here. So this could potentially cause some issues here unless you're using some sort of like cambered bar or something like that. So you want to try to find a bench, if possible, that doesn't have any kind of beam. So you can see there's a lot of space here. Even some like these incline benches, like this is an incline bench from Rogue. If I was going to use this, you can probably get away with using this area, but this area would not be as good of an option. Potentially, if you're pressed for time and you didn't have as much equipment, if this was something like you had access to, you could prop up one side. And this would be okay. So this 45-degree angle would be totally fine. You could probably do a little bit more weight here. It's not going to oppose the lats as much because you're not completely parallel to the floor. So if possible, find some plyo boxes, find some benches. We have these rubber utility blocks. I think these are from Sorinex. I really like these because even like with this, I could actually place the bar here, kind of drag it out, get it in position. But as you can see here, I want to be, if I can get parallel to the floor, this is going to directly oppose shoulder extension here. So it's going to directly kind of work my lats a little bit more. But if I want to work my lats a little bit more, I could pull toward my belly a little bit more like this. If I want to work my upper back and rear delts a little bit more, I can have my elbows out and pull a little bit higher toward the chest. What I'd recommend is take around your bench press grip or slightly closer, but you don't want to get too close. If I get too close, I'm going to start to use my bicep a little bit too much. So make sure that at least your wrist and elbow is stacked when you finish the rep. That way you're getting a good stretch of the lats and upper back and getting good activation and good range of motion. Again, if the grip is too close, we're going to kind of work the bicep a little bit too much. So kind of a pinky on the ring is kind of a good place to start. I can kind of drag it out and I can pull through here. Just like with that rep, I do like to utilize some pauses when doing the seal rows. It is going to make it a lot more challenging. It's going to certainly limit the amount of weight you can do. I would like you to think about your bench grip, tucking your elbows, keeping the wrists and elbows stacked, keeping your shoulder blades retracted. So this would be protracted, this would be retracted as we finish the rep. So lifting my chest up, keeping the lower back out of it, and driving through the bench. Think about driving your elbows to the ceiling. That's going to give a really strong contraction. Okay. If I want to use a little bit heavier weight and I'm doing like a little bit higher reps, I could certainly kind of just do like a tap and go here. And even if the weight starts to get a little bit heavier, I might not even reach the bench, but you want to try to, if I can touch the bar to the bench itself, that's going to kind of standardize the range of motion a little bit more. But again, depending on how long your arms are, the height of the bench, these are all going to kind of come into play, but you want to try to get a similar range of motion each time. That's going to be a little bit more effective. So when you're doing the pause work, anywhere from, and you could certainly, one of the things that I did in today, I started out doing more strict pauses, and then as I get a little bit more tired, I got a little bit more reps in. I started to do more tap and go, and then a little bit more shorter reps, just to get some more work in, just kind of get a little bit more of a pump in my lats and just get a little bit more work. But if you're doing these for strength, you could do as heavy as 3 reps, but more than likely probably like the 5 to 6 rep range is kind of good for overall strength, with a little bit longer pause, like a 1 to 3 count pause at the top of the bench. If you're doing more for hypertrophy, 6, 8, even 12 repetitions, even upwards of 12, 15, 20 would be fine. Notice you could have a slight pause, or just like a tap and go style is totally fine. I would probably start somewhere between maybe 30, 40% of like your max bench, and just kind of see how that feels. Go from there. This is not going to be something can be done as heavy as like a barbell row from the floor, so keep that in mind. So if your lower back's kind of taxed, but you still want to do some barbell rows in your training, I think the seal row is a great option. So definitely give these a try, whether it be a parallel bench or a slight incline. Both are acceptable. Again, you can do these really after any party workout. If you normally do your upper back work on a bench day, that's fine. If you want to throw these in at the end of a deadlift session, that's fine. So maybe your lower back's fried. Maybe you had barbell rows planned for the day. This would be a good substitute, a good option. So give the seal rows a try. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe. If someone's needs some back work in their training, if baby don't got back, share the video to them. Check out the links below. Make sure to subscribe for future content. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, stay strong, and we'll see you soon.